Paparazzi relentlessly pursued Lauren through airports, capturing every moment, while her reputation was scrutinized from every angle. Meanwhile, Patrick maintained a calm, composed public image, rarely reacting to the swirling controversy, as if unaffected by the chaos. Before we get deeper into the investigation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really helps us grow and bring you more content. Yet even silence can only last so long. Now 54 years old, the powerful Hollywood agent has finally chosen to break his silence about the years of rumors and speculation that have surrounded him. And he's done so, not with vague comments or cryptic remarks, but with clear, deliberate statements that leave absolutely no room for misunderstanding. What Patrick reveals doesn't just change the narrative of his own marriage, it also transforms the public's entire perception of Lauren Sanchez. But why choose to speak out now? Is the timing purely coincidental, or is there a calculated reason behind Patrick breaking his silence just as Lauren gains worldwide attention as Jeff Bezos' fiancée? Well before their relationship became tabloid fodder, Patrick Whitell and Lauren Sanchez were two fiercely ambitious individuals carving their paths in separate areas of the entertainment business. Patrick, originally from Iowa, worked relentlessly to build his career from scratch. Unlike many in Hollywood, he wasn't born into privilege or the entertainment elite. Instead, he earned his position through sheer determination and smart, calculated moves. By the time he reached his 40s, Patrick had made a name for himself as a sharp, relentless talent agent whose reputation was known far and wide. His roster of clients looked like a who's who of the red carpet, and his uncanny ability to close seemingly impossible deals earned him respect that, in Hollywood, often outweighs even wealth. Lauren's journey was different, but matched his ambition and drive in intensity. Lauren was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and grew up harboring big dreams. She began her career as a desk assistant at a local TV station and steadily climbed the ladder to become an on-air personality. By her late 20s, she was working as a reporter for Extra, covering major celebrity news and honing the captivating on-camera charisma that would soon define her public image. Their paths crossed in the early 2000s at exclusive industry gatherings in Los Angeles, events where driven and ambitious individuals often meet. Friends who were there at the time still remember the immediate spark between them. Patrick, usually calm and composed, was clearly attracted to Lauren's magnetic charisma, while she seemed equally fascinated by a man who valued her as an intellectual equal instead of merely a glamorous TV star. To outsiders, their partnership looked flawless. Patrick contributed sharp business insight, powerful industry connections, and steady guidance, while Lauren offered charm, media expertise, and a high-profile public presence. They soon became regular faces at charity galas, film premieres, and exclusive industry dinners, where multi-million-dollar deals were often sealed over cocktails. However, while the cameras captured an image of elegance and harmony during their public appearances, the reality of their personal relationship was far more complicated. Patrick's career required extremely long hours, frequent international travel, and constant crisis management for demanding high-maintenance clients. Meanwhile, Lauren faced different kinds of pressures, upholding her public image in an industry where a career could disappear in an instant. Despite these challenges, in their early years together, they managed to find ways to make their relationship work. Friends recall cozy dinner parties held at their Beverly Hills residence, where Lauren's warmth created a welcoming atmosphere, and Patrick's sharp industry insights kept conversations lively well into the night. They seemed like a truly united team, but ironically, the very traits that brought them together, his relentless discipline and her captivating energy, would eventually pull them apart. As both their careers advanced and required more of their time and focus, subtle shifts began to emerge in their relationship's dynamic. In Hollywood, rumors spread faster than contracts are signed and often move independently of the truth. For Patrick and Lauren, the rumors started quietly and subtly. It began with noticeable changes in how they appeared together publicly, or more precisely, how they increasingly avoided showing up together at events. The couple, who were once inseparable on red carpets, started arriving separately to industry gatherings. At first, their friends chalked it up to busy schedules and conflicting commitments. However, behind closed doors, more delicate shifts were underway. Patrick grew increasingly private and secretive about their relationship, while Lauren embraced her public image with growing confidence, sometimes attending high-profile events without wearing her wedding ring.
Almost immediately after the celebration, rumors began to circulate about heated confrontations behind the couple's shining smiles, with insiders quietly whispering about intense arguments and deep-seated resentment growing between them.
When the story finally broke in early 2019, it wasn't a quiet rumor, but sensational front-page headlines that took over the media. Leaked text messages and photographs exposed Lauren Sanchez's affair with Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder, and the richest man on the planet. Almost overnight, years of subtle Hollywood speculation turned into undeniable, widely publicized facts. The leaked conversations were filled with romantic, passionate, and explicit exchanges, making it clear that their relationship had been growing steadily for several months. While tabloids eagerly pounced on the scandal, Patrick did something almost unheard of. He remained completely silent. Those who worked with Patrick professionally recognized this not as a sign of weakness, but as a deliberate and strategic decision. As a seasoned negotiator for Hollywood's most powerful clients, Patrick knew the critical importance of timing. He understood that sometimes the best move was to let the chaos run its course and die down naturally rather than making impulsive statements that could escalate the situation further. Despite his silence, the public spectacle was impossible to ignore. Paparazzi relentlessly trailed Lauren wherever she went, turning her almost overnight from a familiar television personality into the focal point of one of the world's most talked about relationships. Bezos' involvement catapulted the story into a global sensation, transcending typical entertainment news and capturing the attention of business, tech, and mainstream media worldwide. Yet behind the tabloid frenzy, the Whitell marriage was already unraveling in private. Legal proceedings had quietly commenced months before the affair became public knowledge, revealing that Patrick and Lauren had already separated well before the Bezos romance hit the headlines. Despite this crucial detail, the media largely glossed over the timeline, focusing instead on the scandalous aspects. Friends who witnessed Patrick during this turbulent period said he maintained a remarkable level of professionalism and composure, managing the personal and public pressures with the calm demeanor that had earned him respect in Hollywood boardrooms. Patrick's calm and professional silence during the media storm set him apart from the typical Hollywood drama. While Lauren embraced the global spotlight as Jeff Bezos' partner, attending high-profile events and living a life of luxury, Patrick quietly separated from her months before the affair became public. He focused on maintaining his career and personal dignity, avoiding any public outbursts or social media drama. Lauren, on the other hand, fully stepped into her new role, navigating intense scrutiny with confidence and energy. Their rapid romance captured worldwide attention, blending tech billionaire's ambition with Hollywood glamour. Meanwhile, Patrick worked on rebuilding his life and reputation away from the chaos, proving that restraint and professionalism can sometimes be the strongest response in a scandal. The contrast between Lauren and Patrick's lives after their divorce was striking. Lauren embraced the spotlight, living a highly public and glamorous life alongside Jeff Bezos, while Patrick chose to keep his life private and focus on his career. By the end of 2019, their divorce was quietly finalized, and they agreed to maintain a respectful co-parenting relationship for their children. After years of silence, Patrick recently decided to break his silence, but in a low-key way. During a professional interview about career longevity and handling public scrutiny, he addressed the rumors and speculation surrounding his marriage and divorce, offering a thoughtful and measured perspective rather than sensational headlines. When the conversation turned to his divorce, Patrick chose not to deflect as he had for years. This time, he confirmed what many suspected, that by the time Lauren's relationship with Bezos became public, their marriage had already been over for months. He explained that their separation wasn't triggered by any single event, but was the result of a gradual realization that they had grown apart over the years. Patrick carefully avoided sharing specific details about private disagreements and refrained from assigning blame to either side. His tone remained measured, emphasizing mutual respect and the complexities of balancing demanding careers with personal relationships. However, he directly addressed one persistent misconception, that he had been caught completely off guard by the Bezos revelation. According to Patrick, this was simply inaccurate. He was aware their marriage was ending and had accepted that reality long before the headlines appeared. His comments were delivered with calm composure, without the expected anger or bitterness. If anything, there was a sense of quiet closure, as if speaking publicly was less about vindication and more about putting speculation to rest.
He even acknowledged that Lauren had moved on to a life that suited her, and he had done the same. Patrick's decision to break years of silence doesn't read like a typical Hollywood scandal revelation. There were no shocking allegations or dramatic accusations. Instead, it was a measured statement that carried weight precisely because it was restrained and delivered without fanfare. However, timing is everything in Hollywood.
Patrick's choice to clarify the record now, as Lauren prepares for her most visible role as Bezos' fiancée, inevitably raises questions about his motivation. Was it a personal decision, feeling ready to address a difficult chapter, an effort to correct the public narrative, or a strategic move to ensure his version became part of the story before Lauren's new chapter began? What seems certain is that Patrick's account dismantles the media's portrayal of him as a surprised, betrayed ex-husband, and instead presents him as someone who maintained control and dignity throughout a challenging situation. Whether this represents genuine closure or calculated narrative management is open to interpretation. Patrick's approach stands out from typical celebrity divorce behavior, offering a restrained, factual correction that avoids drama, while reclaiming his voice in the story. In an age dominated by social media speculation and instant judgment, his delayed but measured response suggests a thoughtful, deliberate way of managing personal crises under intense public scrutiny. The entertainment industry is no stranger to bitter ex-spouses who use media attention to settle scores or tarnish former partners' reputations. In stark contrast, Patrick's restraint shows that it's possible to set the record straight without fueling destructive public drama. Whether this is the final chapter in their story or just Patrick's measured contribution to an evolving narrative remains uncertain. But after years of silence, he has finally offered his perspective, adding depth and nuance to a story too often boiled down to simplistic headlines of betrayal and scandal. To truly grasp Patrick and Lauren's story, one must understand Hollywood's intricate power dynamics, where personal relationships often serve as strategic alliances. In this world, talent agents like Patrick do more than just represent clients. They actively shape careers and wield influence that extends far beyond contracts. As a key figure at Endeavor, Patrick was at the center of deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars, navigating a complex web of industry interdependencies that define the entertainment landscape. His clients included A-list actors, directors, and musicians whose decisions could make or break major projects. These professional ties demanded constant strategic maintenance, creating pressures most couples never face. Public appearances weren't just social events, they were carefully managed brand moments, navigating complex industry hierarchies where any misstep could damage careers. Meanwhile, Lauren's role as a television personality meant her value was deeply tied to her public image, making every move under intense scrutiny.
Unlike Patrick, who worked behind the scenes, Lauren needed constant visibility and media connections to maintain her status as an aspirational public figure. Her aviation business, Black Ops Aviation, was a serious venture, demanding significant investment, rigorous training, and strong ties with production companies. Balancing these dual career paths meant navigating two very different professional worlds, each with its own pressures and expectations. While Patrick's industry connections could open doors for Lauren's television projects, her public profile also served to elevate the prestige of his agency, creating both opportunities for collaboration and underlying tensions between their careers.
Exactly! This interdependence meant that personal issues between Patrick and Lauren could easily spill over into their professional lives, creating complications that went far beyond typical marital problems. Their social circles operated like intricate power networks, governed by unspoken rules and delicate hierarchies, environments where billion-dollar deals were negotiated casually over drinks. Career-making connections were forged in passing, and a single misstep in etiquette or perception could damage reputations and close doors permanently. For them, navigating these social dynamics wasn't just about fitting in, it was essential to maintaining influence and success in Hollywood's high-stakes world. Absolutely. Charity galas were much more than just fundraising events for Patrick and Lauren. They were carefully orchestrated stages where social, professional, and philanthropic goals intertwined. For the wealthy elite, these galas offered tax advantages while allowing them to publicly demonstrate their generosity. At the same time, these events functioned as high-powered networking hubs where business deals could be quietly negotiated away from the spotlight. Moreover, the glamorous atmosphere helped attendees like Patrick and Lauren bolster their personal brands, projecting influence, success, and social capital, all crucial currencies in Hollywood's complex ecosystem. Exactly. Navigating these galas demanded a kind of social chess game, where every interaction had layers of meaning beneath the surface. Successful attendees like Patrick and Lauren had to read the room expertly, knowing not only who was there, but their motivations, alliances, and possible leverage points. What appeared as casual small talk was often strategic maneuvering. A seemingly innocent chat about vacation spots might double as a discreet pitch for film financing, or a conversation about a charity's mission could be a way to build trust for upcoming business deals. This intricate dance required constant awareness and finesse, blending personal charm with sharp business acumen to protect and advance their interests simultaneously. Absolutely. For Patrick and Lauren, these high-profile events were a double-edged sword. On one hand, their combined influence and reputations made them key players, people organizers relied on to draw the right crowd and keep the energy buzzing. On the other hand, the constant spotlight forced them to perform a kind of emotional balancing act. They had to project an image of success, unity, and charm, even as their personal relationship was fraying behind closed doors. That pressure often meant suppressing genuine feelings and concerns, turning what should have been enjoyable social occasions into exhausting displays of carefully managed appearances. This tension added a subtle but persistent strain, making it harder for them to be truly present or find real comfort amidst the glitz and glamour. Patrick Whitell built his career by sealing some of Hollywood's biggest and most profitable deals, multi-million-dollar star contracts, blockbuster film negotiations, and behind-the-scenes boardroom victories that rarely made headlines. Yet, despite his professional success, there was one subject he never openly discussed: his personal life, especially his marriage to Lauren Sanchez. When Lauren's affair with Jeff Bezos was exposed in 2019, the world witnessed the dramatic collapse of their marriage. Tabloids flooded their front pages with leaked private messages, turning their personal lives into a public spectacle. Those old, unspoken rules started to crumble with the rise of social media and instant news cycles. Suddenly, anyone with a smartphone became a potential paparazzo, and the line between public and private blurred beyond recognition. Where once publicists could negotiate a level of discretion or delay, now every moment could be captured and broadcast globally within minutes. Entertainment journalism shifted from carefully curated stories to relentless 24/7 coverage driven by clicks and views. This relentless exposure meant celebrities, and by extension, people like Patrick and Lauren, had far less control over their personal narratives. The invasion of privacy became normalized, and even the most guarded relationships could be dissected and exploited in real time, amplifying the emotional and professional toll. Digital media flipped the whole script. The focus shifted from respectful storytelling to rapid-fire, attention-grabbing headlines and sensationalism. Viral content and clickbait became king, and media outlets competed fiercely to break stories first, often at the expense of accuracy or sensitivity. The old tacit agreements, where publicists and journalists might hold back on certain private details to maintain good relationships, eroded quickly. Now, even minor slip-ups or rumors could explode into full-blown scandals overnight. For celebrities like Patrick and Lauren, this meant their personal lives were under constant, invasive scrutiny, making it harder than ever to keep professional boundaries intact. It's a relentless cycle that fuels public fascination, but comes at a high cost for those involved.
Patrick's recent decision to address the long-standing misconceptions about his marriage marks a thoughtful and strategic shift in narrative control. Rather than react impulsively during the height of the media frenzy, he waited until the dust had settled, choosing a time and platform that allowed him to speak with clarity and dignity. In doing so, he showed that it's entirely possible to reclaim one's story without resorting to public feuds, tabloid interviews, or emotional outbursts. His calm, factual account didn't just clear the air. It demonstrated restraint, emotional intelligence, and long-term thinking. In an industry often driven by reactive headlines and viral sound bites, Patrick's approach is a reminder that silence, followed by thoughtful action, can be more powerful than any front-page scandal.